It might look like a typical railway bridge examination, and in most respects it is. Paul Thomas has been doing this job for 6 years, providing detailed condition reports on an inventory of more than 650 railway structures from Cornwall to Moray and most places in between. But there is something missing. Paul doesn't have a personal track safety qualification because he doesn't need it. The bridges, viaducts, tunnels and culverts he looks after no longer host railways. He's the bridge engineer for a charity called Railway Paths, which owns and manages a portfolio of former railway structures with the intention of them accommodating walking and cycling routes. It's a methodical process for obvious reasons.
We generally split up the duties where I will take photographs, I will note defects with sketches, and I'll also create a plan in my little yellow book of where the photographs are. So at the end of that inspection I will know every photograph exactly where I was standing and what I was looking at. And my assistant will note the defects, but then we'll come together at the end and we'll compare notes really, and we'll make sure that with every defect that is of significance we have duly noted.
Railway Paths' corporate ambitions are, of course, much grander than just routine housekeeping. Alongside other bodies, notably local authorities and sister charity Sustrans, it helps to forge new links in the ever-expanding and hugely popular national cycle network. In doing so, it often has to undertake bigger projects on bigger structures. One such is Lum Viaduct in the valleys of East Lancashire. It was recently the beneficiary of a £200,000 repair programme funded by the Railway Heritage Trust, which awards grants for such purposes to the tune of £2 million annually, much of it going to Network Rail. At Lum, the work involved reinstatement of the parapets prior to Route 6 of the National Cycle Network being extended over it. Meanwhile, Torksey Viaduct, one of the earliest examples of a box girder bridge, has also received money in preparation for a similar role. But finding funding for the day-to-day work demands more invention.
We're fortunate that we have some land that we can lease out. We make a bit of income from that. We also do deals with property developers now and again. Land that you might think had no value whatsoever suddenly becomes important. And so we do deals with property developers, and that gives us an income. We can then reinvest it back into looking after the structures, so that when somebody like Sustrans or a local authority comes along and says we've got the money to build the project, we all work together and you look back and think that's great.
Whilst many people would prefer it if the structures currently occupied by cycle paths were instead carrying railways, the practical and funding realities of the 21st century ensure such reuse will be rare. The world has moved on. The government is, though, investing several £100 million in cycling, a recognition of the social, economic and environmental benefits it can bring. With the alternative being dereliction or demolition, an increasing number of disused railway structures will hope to be pressed back into this form of public service in years to come.